Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and today's video is going to be a fun one. In today's video, I was sent footage from a regional champion, Jocko Loco, as he demolishes meta teams on the leaderboards with a pretty spicy team. Now his team features Uxie as the lead with Malamar and Incineroar as the closer. Now it goes without saying, do not try this team if you care about your elo. This is more so a showcase of just what a very talented battler can do, even with a team that isn't the greatest. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and take a look at this very spicy team in action in the Open Great League. Hopping into the first match, picking up a decent lead, Uxie into Ariados. Opponent is going to save switch into Feraligatr, and Feraligatr is going to strike first as it looks to connect with a Hydro Cannon. The no shield from Jocko here. Uxie does have some pretty good bulk to it, now going to go for the Swift. Swift into Feraligatr is going to be no shielded. In comes Malamar, and Malamar is going to look for an aggressive farm down. Feraligatr Hydro Cannon would do significant damage. Malamar is going to commit the shield, and Malamar does exit with quite a bit of energy. Now if the opponent brings back in the Ariados is going to have to deal with taking quite a lot of damage, so instead they're going to bring in their final Pokemon, which is Gastrodon. Foul play connects. Gastrodon able to survive, but not by much. These Psy Waves are really adding up, and seeing the Gastrodon here is honestly amazing because that means Incineroar will get to avoid it. We see a catch attempt onto the Uxie. Uxie, unfortunately, not going to get a move, but the opponent is forced to throw some energy, which is not terrible. You could send back in the Malamar, or do you go for an aggressive Snarl down? This is going to be tough. Sending in the Malamar, going to force the final shield, or potentially just get the knockout with a superpower. Opponent will commit the shield. It's all up to Incineroar. In comes Incineroar. Incineroar does have to shield, as a no-shielded Earth Power would be devastating. It's going to be the Body Slam. Opponent switches into the Ariados, but Ariados is about to get absolutely flame cooked by a Blast Burn. Lunge from the Ariados is going to connect. Incineroar gets the double Blast Burn, and it's all over for the opponent. Blast Burn number 1 is debuffed, but Incineroar does not care. That's going to be a knockout, and leaving with Blast Burn number 2 to KO the Gastrodon. So the opponent running full meta, but Jocko Loco is still able to get that win. Hopping to the next match, Uxie into Charjabug. Charjabug is a pretty big issue for this entire team. Uxie going to be staying in this matchup. Swift, of course, does not get same type attack bonus, so it's not going to do a ton of damage, but the confusions do add up a bit over time. Uxie waits the turn, making sure the opponent does not get a catch, and is looking to connect with the Swift. Opponent does end up committing the shield. Uxie not going to win a lot of CMP ties, so unfortunately, going to lose this energy as X-Scissor will pick up the KO. In comes Incineroar. We see a switch into a Shadow Machamp, and this could get quite difficult. Malamar can survive any one move here. Will be the cross chop from the Machamp, but that does so much damage. Malamar now looking to shield and potentially go for a Psy Wave farm down here. It's going to be close, but Psy Wave is so oppressive. Down goes Machamp. Opponent going to bring in the Charjabug. Charjabug going to get hit with the Foul Play. Foul Play will be able to secure the knock. Oh, it doesn't quite knock out, but gets the farm down after. I forget just how bulky Charjabug can be. In the back is Hippowdon. Superpower will be no shielded. And now Incineroar desperately needs to make double Blast Burn here. Tough call to make, committing the shield. It's going to be the Weather Ball. Can Incineroar get there? Incineroar fires off the Blast Burn at the Hippowdon. Hippowdon still has the shield to hide behind here. Can Incineroar get there? Yes, it can. Incineroar gets to the Blast Burn. This is going to be knocking out the Hippowdon. It looks like the move there is taking a little bit of time to register, but there we go. Down goes Hippowdon. And that's a good game. Hopping to the next match, Uxie into Dragapult, a terrible lead. We're going to see an immediate switch out into Malamar. But this, oh my goodness, this is a particularly tough Pokemon for this team to deal with, as Dragapult, Breaking Swipe does so much damage. In comes Drapion. Drapion will be met with back-to-back superpowers. Jocko is going to be only one Psy Wave away, meaning that he will get to the superpower. Opponent potentially could have gone for an Aqua Tail there, but instead, they're actually just going to commit a shield and get a huge farm down. And this energy is so scary. This team is so weak to Drapion. Unfortunately, when you're running a team as spicy as this, there's oftentimes going to be Pokemon that your team just really struggles against, because very spicy Pokemon just don't have the same coverage compared to the meta staples. Incineroar is going to be committing the shield as Drapion goes for a Sludge Bomb here, so they're not on Aqua Tail. In comes Dugong, and this is going to be a tough game. Dugong is 2 away from a potential drill run. Incineroar going to overfarm and play to the CMP tie, so good energy management here by Jocko. Blast Burn is going to be shielded. Opponent really wants to grab that final shield, or will they go for a debuff with the Icy Wind? Calls the Icy Wind bait, and maybe this game is still winnable. That is a huge bait call. Oh, but the game lags. No, Incineroar is supposed to win the cap tie, but the game lags, and that unfortunately means that Incineroar is forced to give up that final shield. Oh, that is tragic. Blast Burn is going to pick up the KO, but now without the shield, I think this is just going to be a game over unless Incineroar can double up here, but it's too low. It's unable to get the double up. One off the back-to-back moves here, but even so debuffed, I believe it would need a Darkest Lariat, and unfortunately, Darkest Lariat cannot be reached. Moving to the next match, leading Uxie into Gastrodon. I mean, this is not an amazing matchup for Uxie, but at the very least, the Gastrodon is not aligned against Incineroar. Gastrodon does have enough for the Earth Power here. We do see a no shield from the Uxie. It's going to be a Body Slam bait. Uxie farming up quite a bit of energy, making sure to throw in very nice timing there to only give the opponent one free turn. Swift is going to be shielded. They're firing off another move. Do you try and call another Body Slam here? We're going to see a shield. It is going to be the Body Slam from the Gastrodon. Gastrodon firing off another Body Slam, but I don't think this will KO. Uxie is very bulky. The Body Slam is going to get Uxie quite low, but Uxie is at the back-to-back Swifts, and somehow this matchup is actually pretty solid. We're going to see an aggressive switch into Malamar, and how is Dunsparce their best response? They are just core broken to smithereens by Malamar in the back if this is the case. Drill Run is going to land Malamar at the back-to-back superpowers. 2 superpowers will easily KO. First one is going to connect. Now opting to go for the foul play. Either move will KO, but this way he's only going to be 1 stage debuffed instead of 2. In the back is going to be Clodsire, and this is going to be pretty tricky. We're going to see a switch out into the Incineroar. Incineroar, I don't know if it can survive an Earthquake here. He will commit the shield. It's a Stone Edge from the Clodsire. Waits the turn. The opponent is going to get the move, but it should just be a Body Slam, and Body Slam will not KO. So now Incineroar exits with a Blast Burn. Reset the debuff on the Malamar. Blast Burn is going to be shielded. Can Incineroar get to another move? No, Clodsire is not going to let that happen. Clodsire firing off the Stone Edge. Down goes Incineroar. In comes the Malamar. Malamar does have quite a bit of energy, but it has almost no HP. Foul play is going to connect, getting to another foul play as well. The Malamar putting in so much work. Foul play lands, and there's the combo play with the Swift from Uxie. That end game, oh my goodness, I did not see the win con, but he makes magic happen. And as you can see, he is winning games with this team, my goodness. We've got a type neutral lead in the next match, Uxie versus Lickilicky. Although if Lickilicky does have Shadow Ball, things could get quite uncomfortable for the Uxie. Uxie is going to let it through. It is the Shadow Ball, and massive damage connects. Lickilicky immediately firing a Body Slam thereafter. Body Slam will not KO. Uxie going to return fire with the Thunder. None of its charge moves are getting that same type attack bonus, but Thunder is still going to grab a shield, and now a quick switch to Malamar. Opponent not answering the Malamar save switch. Instead, they're just staying in with the Lickilicky. Malamar is going to be hit with a Body Slam. Malamar choosing to go for the foul play here, hoping that even though it's neutral, it will be enough to knock out. Foul play does KO. Down goes Lickilicky. Opponent brings in their own Malamar. So this is hopefully a pretty good sign. Anytime an opponent is bringing in a mirror match, especially when they're down energy and down shields, they're probably weak to Malamar somewhere in the back. Opponent is going to go for the foul play. We will see the shield, and he's going to make it to foul play number 2. This should just KO the opponent. And it does! Down goes Malamar. In the back is Shadow Machamp, and that is not what you're hoping to see if you have an Incineroar as your final Pokemon. The good news, however, is that, my goodness, these Psywaves are just shredding, trying for a catch, unable to get it, and now I think you just have to sacrifice the Incineroar. This is going to be a Stone Edge, and it's going to one-shot. Stone Edge one-shots Incineroar. In comes the Malamar, and the Psywaves KO. What a clutch survive from Malamar there. That endgame looked doomed, but able to hang on and still get victory. Speaking of doomed, this lead is incredibly bad. Uxie into Malamar. Jocko is just going to switch out into his own Malamar, and his opponent is going to farm up a ton of energy and respond with a Azumarill. This is a win in the 2 shields for Malamar. However, going down 2 shields means that unfortunately, Incineroar is just going to get knocked out with a superpower. So this is going to be a pretty difficult endgame to play out of. Jocko is going to be shielding once, however. So he is going to be protecting the Malamar and looking to try and play his way out of this. This Azumarill is getting melted. We're going to see a switch out in the catch, banking a ton of energy, catching onto the Uxie, and the opponent is going to return with the Malamar. Malamar going to get hit with the Swift. Swift is going to do a little bit of chip damage here, but Confusions will do absolutely nothing. Malamar tanking those like it's nothing at all. Opponent goes for the foul play. Uxie, it's honestly a little bad that Uxie doesn't get KO'd there, but I guess in hindsight, even though it does give the Malamar farm, it puts the Malamar into foul play range, and now he can switch out combo with the foul play. Opponent is going to shield, but it's a CMP tie, and the opponent actually wins the CMP tie. The foul play is going to connect. That's going to get the Malamar deep into the red, but Jocko is able to survive, return fire with a superpower, and force the final shield. Can the opponent get the farm down? No, they can't. Psywave doing absolutely nothing here. Superpower is reached. It KOs the opponent, and in the back is going to be a Shadow Drapion. Incineroar hits the field of play. Incineroar going to immediately commit the shield, as Shadow Drapion would do quite a lot of damage. The Aqua Tail is going to be shielded. There's the switch from the opponent into the Azumarill, farming up to the back-to-back Blast Burns, and I think this game somehow, despite leading Uxie into Malamar, is going to be a win. The one potential lose con is if Drapion can somehow tank this Blast Burn. Blast Burn, oh no, it doesn't KO, goes for the catch, doesn't get the catch, and now I think it might be lost. I thought the Blast Burn would KO for sure, but Shadow Drapion hangs on, gets its revenge, and that is an absolutely heartbreaking defeat. Moving to the next match, looking for some redemption, leading Uxie into Miltank. Miltank quite bulky as well. So in this matchup, neither Pokemon is going to be able to inflict a lot of damage here. Opponent is going to fire off a Thunderbolt, and Uxie, oh my goodness, tanks that like it's nothing and returns fire with his own electric move of Thunder. Thunder into the Miltank will be no shielded as well. Miltank firing off another charge move, and again, Uxie very comfortable surviving here, as a Thunderbolt will not be enough to KO. In comes Goodra. Goodra gets a snipe, and this is going to be a difficult game to play out of. Goodra, of course, so strong into that Incineroar in the back. Malamar enters the field of play and will look to connect with a foul play. Opponent does not protect the Goodra, and that is good news for Jocko. Jocko very happy to neutralize this Goodra. Goodra goes for the Aqua Tail, and Malamar is able to get the Psywave farm down. Back in comes the Miltank. Miltank immediately met with a Superpower. Superpower will pick up the KO, and it's all up to what's in the back, and it's a Talonflame in the back. And this is going to be a bit of a tricky endgame here. The battle of 2 fire types. The opponent calls the Blast Burn bait. Oh no. And now, can Jocko potentially just fast move down here? What a call from the opponent. Jocko just gonna purely commit to the fast move pressure here, and he's gonna let this go. He's saying, I can Psywave you down with the Malamar. In comes the Malamar, and he does! He Psywaves down opponent with a beautiful bait call, but it does not matter, as they lose the game with both shields remaining. Hopping to the next match, Uxie versus Golett. And look at the fast moves in this matchup. Oh my goodness. Golett gonna strike first with a Shadow Punch. This is a Shadow Punch. Uxie able to hang on, and it's a simultaneous switch out as the opponent sends in Fortress, and he's going to be sending in his Malamar. Malamar goes for the foul play. That is going to be no shielded by the Fortress. Fortress does have enough for the Earthquake here, so we will see the shield. Opponent does full send the Earthquake, so no Rock Tomb bait, so that is quite good for Jocko. Jocko always throwing on very, very good charge attack timing here, so maximizing as much energy as possible with the Malamar. Malamar, foul play is shielded, so may as well throw the second one after 3 more Psywaves. The foul play is going to be shielded. We see a switch and an attempted snipe with the Uxie, but honestly, this works out as well. Catching the move, and then I think you just trust an Incineroar to try and 1v3 in this endgame here. So I'm going to bring in the Incineroar. Opponent going to send in Golett. Oh, these mud slaps. This poor Incineroar is just getting shredded. Shielding up the Shadow Punch. Can Incineroar get the farm down? It cannot. It's a simultaneous KO. In the back is Shadow Driftblim. Oh my goodness, this might still be a win despite losing the whole Incineroar. Foul play is reached. This is the Shadow Drifblim. It cannot survive. And the opponent gets farmed down. What a win. Losing the whole Incineroar, but Malamar, an absolute masterclass to take that game. Hopping into the final match, we've got Uxie versus Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff is going to stay in, and honestly, considering there's 2 dark types in the back, that's honestly definitely preferable. Swift will land. Opponent firing off energy. Uxie knows nothing it can throw here will be able to pick up the knockout. It is the disarming voice, but that's not going to KO. Uxie unfortunately can't risk going for 2 in the move there as the charm would KO, so just going to settle for the Swift. Uxie does get farmed down, but Malamar, I was going to say Malamar could get a farm down, but Jocko says no. He's gone for the 2 snarls on Incineroar. Now Incineroar is going to be answered with a Feraligatr, but Feraligatr has to land a charge move to do any damage. The Shadow Claws, of course, are resisted due to the Dark subtyping. There's a Blast Burn bait and a switch into Malamar. Malamar is going to no shield because Hydro Cannon is not a move that will KO. Opponent now going to send in Dugong. Dugong going to get outpaced here by the Malamar. Malamar is going to be debuffing its attack and defense with this superpower, the shield from the opponent, and Malamar is able to get to superpower number 2. That is massive, as that puts the Dugong in a range where 1 move from Incineroar can KO. Incineroar has 2 shields to hide behind. Going to commit the shield here, opponent is going to bait with the Icy Wind. Incineroar able to win the cap tie here, getting its revenge on a Dugong, because earlier, unfortunately, could have potentially won the game, but had some lag. But in this instance, this is game over. Incineroar has the Darkest Lariat loaded and ready to go. Clicking on the Darkest Lariat, and that Icy Wind debuff does not matter in the slightest. Down goes Feraligatr, and that is a good game. All in all, these are some extremely entertaining battles, so many thanks to Jocko for sending them in. And I do think that these battles are a really good example of part of the reason why, me personally, I was really motivated to try and improve at Go Battle League and get better, because as you get better and better, then you're able to use more and more flawed Pokemon and still have success with them. And as we see here, Jocko, I mean, he's up at Legend rank, hasn't tanked at all, going up against almost exclusively Legends. And these battles were sent in a week or 2 back, where I believe this was still leaderboard elo as well. And he's able to get wins and play out of some incredibly difficult spots. So many thanks for sending in the footage, as these battles were an absolute blast. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is sincerely appreciated. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.